controlled by American billionaire John Malone, agreed today to buy the British company Cable and Wireless in a deal worth $8.2 billion, including debt. Commenting on the acquisition, Chief Executive of Cable and Wireless, Phil Bentley, said Liberty Global offers scale and world-class capabilities and will be an outstanding custodian of CNW's business, both for its staff and customers. Liberty Global has nearly 27 million subscribers and generates about $18 billion in revenues, with operations mainly in Europe, but growing ambitions in Latin America and the Caribbean. Mr. Bentley said the years ahead should bring new opportunities for further success, faster growth, and enhanced customer benefits built on the strong foundation that they've created at CNW. Ryan Broom, CBC News.
Thanks, Ryan. Well, just days after the High Court lifted the injunction that brought a halt to trading of Banks Holdings Limited shares, the bidding war for the company has resumed in earnest. SLU Beverages, through its Brazilian parent company, Ambev, has topped Ansa Macal's $6 share offer with an offer of $6.20. Ambev had previously offered $5.60. There was no immediate response to Ambev's new offer by Ansa Macal. The groundbreaking for the much-anticipated Sam Lord's Castle by Wyndham is expected to take place next Monday. This was revealed by Minister of Tourism Richard Seeley during a St. Michael's South constituency meeting. Minister Seeley says the renewal of the resort is facilitated by a loan of $170 million from the Exim Bank of China.
It is a wonderful project at several levels. Of course, it brings back that iconic site into use as a major hotel property, but it also is in keeping with the government's idea that with the right investment strategy, we can see growth in tourism sustained to the point where we can even see full employment in Barbados.
Minister Seeley added that the Sandals Resort is expanding its room capacity and he would like to see similar investments by other hotels.
The Sandals as well, with the expansion that they have, that property will be going to 500 hotel rooms. Presently, there's just over 200. So we want to see more investment. We also supposed to see some more investment in the Carlisle Bay area, that too. In the first instance, the Hyatt project, but also it is envisaged that there will be other hotel plant as well that will develop in that corridor. And again, all in keeping with government's strategy of boosting our room stock to the point where we create the capacity for growth in tourism.
Barbados was featured in social media giant Snapchat's live story today. The live story feature gave the application's 100 million users the opportunity to see photos and 10-second videos of the island. Barbados is one of the first Caribbean islands to have been featured, as live story usually focuses on larger countries. Snapchat users currently in Barbados had the chance to be part of the story. The live stories submitted were reviewed by the app before being broadcast to the world. The challenges of the regional private sector were highlighted and a number of proposals put forward to the Council for Trade and Economic Development. The opportunity came during a special session between representatives of the regional private sector and regional ministers at the just concluded 41st Quoted meeting in Guyana. The intention is to improve the way business is conducted in the region. The Caribbean Association of Industry and Commerce, Caribbean Export, the Caribbean Poultry Association, and the West Indian Rum and Spirits Association were all present at the meeting. Barbados's Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator Maxine McLean, says there was a high level of engagement and frank dialogue during the meeting.
Ministers recognize that a response to the private sector must be strategic and coherent and should address subjects such as concentration, risk factors, use of cash limits for official transactions, including customs, access to finance, and the development of an effective communication strategy. The CARICOM Secretariat will establish a matrix on the actionable points of the discussion and draw up an implementation schedule on those matters.
Health matters were also discussed, including non-communicable diseases. Well, coming up later in the evening news, our first coast-to-coast independence feature. But before we get to that, we want to hear from you on this question. Do you think Barbadians will benefit more from the new ownership of cable and wireless? Text yes or no to short code 8111. We'll have the results for you at the end of the news.
There are so many people that are involved in the process of making you feel at home here, from the house parents to the girls in my house. Everyone does a really good job on making you feel at home.
Why choose a Canadian boarding school for your child? Find out at the Case Canadian Boarding School Fair. Meet representatives from Canada's top boarding schools at the Accra Beach Hotel Wednesday, November 18th from 5 to 8 p.m. and discover how your child can experience more.
What's this, you ask? Oh, it's just
spreadsheet smashing,
hedge trimming, dog walking, weekend away, show boating,
gravity defying,
tree chopping, glucose, knowledging, energy fueling,
barbecuing,
glucose refueling,
engine revving,
crowd surfing, home commuting,
crocodile wrestling, explosion ignoring,
awesome kind of energy. Whatever you do it with energy.
Hi, I'm Red Plastic Bag. Anyone who knows me knows I don't like cold. Sunshine reigns in my country. I love it.
Get your sun power.
The Queen Elizabeth Hospital was forced to temporarily halt admissions to one of its wards today. The action was taken after a patient began exhibiting what was said to be flu-like symptoms on Ward C4. Communications specialist at the QEH, Julie Carrington, says as a precautionary measure, the patient was relocated.
Ward C4 is not closed, but the hospital's administration has taken the decision that there would be no new admissions to the ward because one of the patients had exhibited flu-like symptoms. That patient has been moved to an isolated area within the hospital. It is expected that admissions to the ward will resume by Wednesday.
Social Care Minister Steve Blackett says the Welfare to Work program is being seriously re-examined. He made the comments to journalists at the Bethel Methodist Church in the city following a Thanksgiving service for the Welfare Department.
The Welfare to Work program is dependent on the job opportunities that are out there in the wider job market. And because those job opportunities have diminished, the Welfare to Work program has had to be reconstructed and recalibrated. Because of the lack of opportunities that are out there. But whenever, I believe, whenever we in the government and we have found that the scope is there to re-employ, probably not on the scale that we had in the past, but where we find within the government departments that we can absorb some of the kind of skill sets that are available among those people who are presenting to us as clients, we will take them back on in some regard. But of course, that depends on how well the economy performs and the scope that we can bring those people back on and re-employ them.
A retired educator says class sizes in Barbados are too large. This is according to Dr. Myrna Belgrave, who is a former principal of the Garrison Secondary and St. Winifred schools. Dr. Belgrave says this makes it difficult for teachers to show compassion the way they need to.
And you cannot give that one-on-one attention to the students. And many times you have to give that one-on-one attention to student and parent, right? And then you have to have, the teachers have to have that awareness. Where are they going to get it?
Dr. Belgrave was delivering the DLP's lunchtime lecture at the party's headquarters. She says detentions are hardly effective and are a waste of time. Dr. Belgrave says these periods should be used for reflection and not punishment. Close to 3,600 pounds of garbage was recovered from various areas around Barbados and just offshore on International Coastal Cleanup Day. That day, November 13th, saw nearly 500 Barbadians and several businesses volunteering to assist the Barbados chapter of the Caribbean Youth Environment Network. The top items found were tiny pieces of plastic, followed by bottle caps and plastic drinking bottles. The heaviest amount of garbage, just over 500 pounds, was collected from Morgan Lewis Beach, while the most items were collected from Browns Beach. Still to come, a look at some of the stories making headlines across the region. But first, we want to hear from you on this question. Do you think Barbadians will benefit more from the new ownership of Cable and Wireless? Text yes or no to short code 8111. Those results at the end of the news. Remember, you can also follow us on Twitter at CBC_newsroom and on our Facebook page, CBC News Barbados.
My baby. That's what we have to do.
You are a romantic.
I have diabetes, and I'm still the same.
Lucerna. Thanks to its benefits that help control my blood sugar spikes and provides energy. Drinking it daily.
Lucerna, keep being you.
Here comes a very special time of the year. You're dreaming of the colors that will be everywhere. Harris is your first choice. Color your Christmas.
Make Harris Paints your first choice this Christmas for a whole lot less. There's 20% off Perma, 25% off kitchen and bathroom, and 30% off all Ultima Plus paints, plus the ever-durable Trouble Tex Natural for just $98. So dream in color this Christmas with Harris Paints, the Caribbean champions of color.
Harris is your first choice. Color your Christmas.
Win up to $250,000 from Our Pot of Gold at Courts. That's $5,000 a day for 50 days when you shop at Courts. Spend $999 in Dover between now and November 20th, and each day, one customer will get a chance to win $5,000 for 50 days. The first draw is Friday, September 25th. So shop now to win from Our Pot of Gold. Courts, bringing value home.
Hi, good afternoon. Yes, this is she. Seriously? Oh my gosh. I have some good news, Mom. I won a Barbados scholarship. Mom, I won a scholarship. Mom, no partying, no alignment, just studying, Mommy. You know I always said I wanted to be successful in life. And you always told me, Mom, if you fail to prepare, be prepared to fail. I always wanted to be successful in life. So that's why I studied long, Mom, all those nights. I use my time productively, and I reap sweet rewards. I'm so happy for you.
Productive inputs result in successful outputs.
Brought to you by your friends at the Productivity Council.
begin in Dominica. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit has written to several governments and financial organizations seeking debt forgiveness in the wake of the damage from Tropical Storm Erica. The government of Dominica says over $1 billion is needed to fully recover from the late August storm that destroyed infrastructure and claimed lives. Prime Minister Skerrit said that it would be difficult for the island to remain committed to its debt while it deals with recovery efforts. Some organizations in which Dominica has membership have suspended the country's contributions for a period of time. Over to Jamaica, President of the Westmoreland Hemp and Ganja Farmers Association, Ras Aya, is urging the government to align with other countries to secure a slice of the international marijuana market. He says he knows there are other countries in the Caribbean and Latin America that are against America's position, which he calls "do as I say and not as I do." Ras Aya accused the U.S. of using state laws as a smokescreen to stifle the emerging ganja industry in third world countries while promoting their own. The Ganja Law, or Dangerous Drugs Amendment Act 2015, was passed by both houses of parliament in Jamaica in February this year. The changes to the act allow possession of 2 ounces or less of marijuana. 3 men were arrested after trying to enter Dutch St. Martin over the weekend using false documents. The men in custody are believed to be Syrian nationals. They had arrived on a flight from Haiti. In the meantime, members of the community are being urged to be vigilant and proceed with caution given the current situation unfolding in France. Authorities manning critical infrastructures have been urged to heighten security measures and remain alert for any suspicious activities or people. Well, sports news is just ahead, but first, here is a tip from Cooperators General Insurance.
This tip of the day is brought to you by Cooperators General Insurance Company Limited. Insurance the way you want it to be.
Be sure you know where to report and how to report potentially violent situations and concerns about conditions in the neighborhood that can lead to violence. This tip is brought to you in association with the Criminal Justice Research and Planning Unit and Faces of Violence in the Society.
She wants champagne. Champagne?
Check your account balance or transfer funds in an instant. We never take a break from serving you. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
Bringing value home.
And good evening, I'm Sean Green with a look at the evening sports. The Barbados Pride and Trinidad and Tobago Red Force played to a tame draw in their second round WICB PCL first class game at Kensington Oval today. Resuming from their overnight 171 for 3, Barbados declared on 243 for 5 with Shane Dowich not out on 40. Now that set a target of 298. However, when stumps were pulled just around 5 p.m., the Red Force had reached 182 for 4. Now here's a look at the pre-lunch exchanges with Anne-Marie Burke.
Losing the early wicket of Shamar Brooks, the other overnight batsman Roston Chase pressed on. That was a maximum 6 onto the roof of the Hall and Griffith stand. But his stay would also be a short one into the hands of Rad Emirates. Shannon Gabriel, the bowler, Chase got 3. Barbados Pride 205 for 5. That brought in Shane Dowich and he immediately made his presence felt. Straight driving can for a maximum 6. Dowich was beating ball, dispatching this one to the ropes. He then went through mid-wicket, just what the Pride needed, as after adding 72 runs to the overnight total of 171, the Pride declared on 243 for 5. Dowich not out on 40 and Kevin Stout not out on 9, the Pride with a lead of 297. So set 298 for victory, the Red Force started their reply in earnest. Kajon